Canto 7. Pape Satan Alepe, began Plutus with clucking voice, and that gentle sage who knew all said comfortingly, Let not thy fear hurt thee, for whatever power he have, he shall not hinder thee from descending this rock. Then he turned himself to that inflated visage and said, Peace, cursed wolf! Consume thyself internally with thy greedy rage. Not without cause is our journey to the deep. It is willed on high, there where Michael took vengeance of the proud adultery. As sails swelled by the wind fall entangled when the mast breaks, so fell that cruel monster to the ground. Thus we descended into the fourth concavity, taking more of the dismal bank which shuts up all the evil of the universe. O justice divine! Who shall tell in few the many fresh pains and travails that I saw, and why does guilt of ours thus waste us? As does the there above Charybdis, that breaks itself against the surge wherewith it meets, so have the people here to counter-dance. Here saw I too many more than elsewhere, both on the one side and on the other, with loud howlings, rolling weights by force of chest, and smote against each other, and then they wheel round just there, rolling it back, shouting, Why holdest thou? And why throwest thou away? Thus they returned along the gloomy circle, on either hand to the opposite point, again shouting at each other their reproachful measure. Then everyone, when he had reached it, turned through his half-circle towards the other joust. And I, who felt my heart as it were stung, said, My master, now show me what people these are, and whether all those tonsured on our left were the clergy. And he to me, In their first life, all were so squint-eyed in mind that they made no expenditure in it with moderation. Most clearly do their voices bark out this when they come to the 2 points of the circle where contrary guilt divides them. There were priests that have not hairy covering on their heads, and popes and cardinals in whom avarice does its utmost. And I, Master, among this set I surely ought to recognize some that were defiled by these evils. And he to me, Vain thoughts combinest thou. Their undiscerning life which made them sordid now makes them too obscure for any recognition. To all eternity they shall continue butting one another. These shall arrive from their graves with closed fists, and these with hair shorn off. Ill-giving and ill-keeping has deprived them of the bright world, and put them to this conflict. What a conflict it is I adore nor words to tell. But thou, my son, mayest now see the brief mockery of the goods that are committed unto fortune, for which the humankind contend with one another. For all the gold that is beneath the moon or ever was could not give rest to a single one of these weary souls. Master, I said to him, now tell me also this fortune, of which thou hintest to me, what is she that has the good things of the world thus within her clutches? And he to me, O foolish creatures, how great is this ignorance that falls upon ye! Now I wish thee to receive my judgment of her. He whose wisdom is transcendent over all made the heavens and gave them guide so that every part shines to every part, equally distributing the light in like manner for worldly splendors. He ordained a general minister and guide, to change betimes the vain possession from people to people and from one kindred to another beyond the hindrance of human wisdom. Hence one people commands another languages, obeying her sentence which is hidden like the serpent in the grass. Your knowledge cannot understand her. She provides judges and maintains her kingdom as the other gods do theirs. Her pure mutations have no truce. Necessity makes her be swift. Thus he comes off to who doth the change obtain. This is she who is so much reviled even by those who ought to praise her when blaming her wrongfully with evil words. But she is in bliss and hears it not, with the other primal creatures joyful. She wills her sphere and tastes her blessedness. But let us not ascend to greater misery. Already every star is falling. That was ascending when I set out, and to stay too long is not permitted. We crossed the circle to the other bank near a fount that boils and pours down through a cleft which it has formed. The water was darker than purse, and we, accompanying the dusky waves, entered down a strange path. This dreary streamlet makes a march that is named Styx, when it has descended to the foot of the grey malignant shores, and I, who stood intent on looking, saw many people in that bog, all naked and with a look of anger. They were smiting each other, not with hands only, but with head, with chest, and feet, meeting one another with their teeth piece by piece. The kind master said, Son, I see the souls of those whom anger overcame, and also I would have thee to believe for certain That there are people underneath the water whose sobbing make it bubble at the surface as the eye may tell me whichever way it turns. Fixed in the slime they see. Sullen were we in the sweet air that is gladdened by the sun carrying lazy smokes within our hearts. Now lie we sullen here in the black mire. This hymn they gurgle in their throats, but they cannot speak it in full words. Thus, between the dry bank and the putrid fen, we encompass the large arc of that loathly slough. With eyes turned towards those that swallow of its filth, we came to a foot of a tower at last.